Hello everyone, thanks for joining us for Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue to follow the athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. A very interesting show lined up for you today. We're going to have Gil Cloud, who's the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, and two of his assistants as we talk about the program overall in the Tulsa Public Schools. And then we got a couple of football coaches coming aboard, and we'll talk some high school football along with volleyball, and as well as other things that are going on within the athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. Don't go away, we're coming right back.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard Assistant Director of Athletics here in the Tulsa Public Schools, Jen Sanders. And Jen, it's always a pleasure having you aboard, especially when we talk about Bike Club.
It's
You have seen that grow so much.
We have, Bike Club, this is our 4th year, and we started with one club, and now we're up to 14. We couldn't be more thankful for our supporters and our founders, Jason Horton and Mike Wozniak, Jason from Humble & Sons. These guys get out there and raise the money that we don't have, and it provides these clubs for the kids, and, our kids get to learn the rules of the road, and that's obviously very important as you get older, but so important for our kids today that are riding in their neighborhoods.
I think it's more important today than it was 20 years ago.
That's for sure.
Because the traffic is just a lot different. But when you take a look, this is, you said, your 4th year, and it has grown every year.
That's right. We've recently added Webster Middle School as a club, so they're going to be doing just a little bit different activities than our elementary clubs. They'll be able to go out on some rides, farther rides, and then of course, ride at Turkey Mountain and places like that. And then we've also added a high school club, which is Hale High School. And these kids are competing in cycling competitions, whether it's a cross competition or a road race. Most of these kids are riding on Wednesday nights with adults and these long rides. So they're getting to actually compete. We even had one kid that won at Nathan Hale High School. He won one of the Turkey Mountain mountain bike races. So it's just really cool that the cycling community has really surrounded themselves around Tulsa Public Schools and rallied for us, and they've changed kids' lives by introducing them to cycling.
Jen, 4 years ago when this started, did you have any idea it would be like this? And then what do you expect the next 4 years?
Well, I think the first year I thought, this is interesting. We'll see how this goes. And then with the help of our community, the Tulsa community, it's really turned it into something super special, not just for our kids in our schools and our school leaders, but really for the community. I mean, I listened to the volunteers talk about their experiences with our kids, and to be honest, that's the special component that you don't sometimes get with other after-school programs. So when you get people volunteering from the Blue Cross Blue Shield, people volunteering from McNally's group, and they're showing up every week to be a supporter of these students, it, number one, changes lives, and it creates a sense of community around each school.
This is something that crosses my mind. As we look at athletics today, we are so concerned about injuries, about different things that can happen that would create a problem for that youngster, boy or girl, maybe forever. And when we look at riding a bike, I can't see them getting too many concussions. I can't see them getting too many broken arms or legs. But does this have an impact in the growth?
You know, it does. It teaches a lot of things. Number one, one of the best things we teach our kiddos is how to be safe on the road. And then number two is how to ensure that your bike is safe, you know, with your airs, your brakes, your cranks, all of that good stuff. And teaching those kids those different aspects of safety really helps cut back on those types of injuries. And also another thing that we do, you know, we obviously make our kiddos wear helmets. And, you know, that's important as well, as teaching them that anytime you're on a bike, you should be wearing a helmet. And especially here in Tulsa, you know, we've had quite a few incidences where we've had cyclists hit. And so we really want our kids to know that danger is out there, but with our program, we're able to teach them how to maneuver around, you know, dangerous areas and things like that.
Do you expect this to expand and to grow until maybe most of the schools have some form or another involvement?
That is the end goal. There's some grants out there, and in fact, Bentonville, Arkansas, and Lincoln, Arkansas has received a grant where almost all of their elementary schools have bikes within their PE classroom. We just recently distributed over 100 Strider bikes, and if you don't know what those are, they're the little balance bikes. There's no crank or chain or pedals. It's just where you're teaching pre-K and kindergarten kids how to ride a bike on a Strider. So that, you know, yes, we think that's where it's going to go. It's just how quickly can we get there?
Well, it seems like that within that element that there's always something new coming about, and riding bicycles, one of them, and I know that you're excited about it.
I am.
Well, we always appreciate you coming aboard and visiting with us, and maybe next year we'll talk about 15 or 20 more, who knows, but best of luck and continued success with your bikes.
Thank you.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That would be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head football coach at Edison High School, Tony Daniels. And Tony, always a pleasure having you aboard, and what a big win that was on Friday night as you shut out Memorial 32-0.
Great feeling, being back, kind of the rivalry, picking everything back up again from when I previously coached at Memorial, but it just kind of renewed the rivalry for myself, and it was just a good feeling to get out there, being at home, and both of us sharing the facility and going through that aspect. It was just a great night.
You know, I think a lot of times people have a hard time really believing and understanding what you're talking about, but when you have coached at Memorial, the many years you coached there, and then you're now at Edison, and now when you play, there's a feeling there that's hard to explain, isn't there?
There absolutely is. It's you have that rivalry, and especially when you share the stadium, it's a feeling that you get whether you're coaching or whether you're playing, and it's big on both sides. So
yes.
it's really big.
Well, Tony, how do you feel about the Eagles this year and the fact that you're 1-1? Last year you won 1 and lost 9. Do you feel like that they're going to? And when you take a look at District 5A3, I think you can compete very well in there.
I think so too. I think that it being the second year, the second system, and having the same coaches that we have that came back, I think that's a testament to the coaching staff and implementing our powerlifting program and doing a lot of things in the off season. But I think that from where we are right now to where we were, I mean, we're already, three quarters of the season in from last year where we started kind of hitting our cylinders and getting better every day. But I feel like we're way ahead of schedule where we were last year.
Talk about some of the players that you have that maybe at the beginning, even at the end of last year, that maybe you didn't think that they were going to be what they are, but they are advancing farther than you expected?
Yeah, we have a couple of kids. We have Cole Carlton, plays a little bit of quarterback for us, some outside receiver, Brant Hager, quarterback. They're both young. One's a junior, one's a sophomore. So they had that experience coming in from last year and kind of taking over offensively. We've got a couple of other kids. Ty Hinkle had a great offseason for us. Ty's a great kid, high motor kid, and just helps get the job done. So he does a really good job for us. So there are a couple of kids that has really helped us out, tremendously from the end of last season to where we are now, and a couple of them are starting.
Did they work out? Were they in other sports, or were they in your program during the winter and spring?
We had a couple of the kids that were doing basketball. That another kid that I had missed, but Darius Fritz plays basketball and then came back after basketball. But we have a couple of those kids that do, and then the other kids that I mentioned earlier. All three of them were in the off-season program and really got to work and compete and get after it.
When you look at District 5A3 there, at Glenpool, East Central, McAllister, Coweta, Shawnee, Noble, and Durant, I don't believe there's any of those that were this week ranked in the top 10, but that doesn't mean that they're not good football teams, does it?
No, it doesn't. You look at that schedule and you look at the district. I mean, it's from top to bottom is still going to be challenging every single week. You got to get the kids ready up to play and get them ready to compete. It's high school football. Anything can change. Anything can happen. But just looking at the schedule and everything from where it was last year, and a lot of these teams being placed in the top 10 and competing with them, it's still going to be challenging, but it's still going to be fun at the same time.
Well, that's what when you said it's going to be challenging. When you look at it, why, it would appear to me that almost any one of those schools could beat the other school. So when you get into a situation like that, your kids will prepare harder. The coaching staff will prepare more harder as well. I mean, it just works a lot better, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think that the kids are now seeing, especially after this last week, what kind of hard work goes into it. I mean, they really prepared hard for week one, but just seeing those kids get after it and knowing what we have and what they can accomplish is great.
What's the chances of you going up to Claremore this week? What are you going to do?
Coach Hurt's got those guys going really well. This is his second season over there at Claremore, and I feel like he's doing a really good job. And comparing them, they're a very physical team, and I like to say that we are too. And I think it's going to be a very physical game, both offense, defense, and also on special teams. But I think that I know that they're going to get after it, and they're going to try and topple us. But I know with what we're preparing for and what we're doing with this weekend's work and everything else that we've done, we're ready to get physical right back at them.
Well, Tony, I want to wish you the very best of luck. And when I'm talking to you, sometimes I go back and I think you're at Memorial. No, you are now at Edison. I'm sure you've had that thrown out at you before, though.
Yes, absolutely.
But want to wish you the very best of luck. And when you get on into that 5A3, why, make the playoffs and just feel like that you got them going at Edison High School. Pleasure having you aboard.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head football coach at Booker T. Washington High School, Brad Caleb. And Brad, always a pleasure having you aboard. And again, the Hornets are good in football.
Yes, we so fortunately we're playing pretty well now, and so this team I really like them. They a bunch of seniors that we have are hard workers, so I'm really pleased with the season so far.
Now, you went to Louisiana and played a team. You lost 30-21, as I finally found out. We didn't get it up here very quickly. But what kind of a team was it that took that game from you?
West Monroe was an outstanding football team. They're similar to like a Jinx or Union here in the state of Oklahoma, and so we knew we had a tough opponent. Their quarterback is committed to University of Alabama, so we knew we had our hands full. And but our kids played lights out. At one time, we got down 20-7, and we fought back, and we never gave up, and we ended up getting beat 30-21. But our kids played very well.
Well, Brad, when you go out of state like that and play, it's a different setting. And it's a different area of which the team that you normally would prepare for. But now, coming back to District 6A2, can it get any tougher than that?
No, it's going to be a slugfest, and it was last year. I mean, you know, with Muskogee and Sand Springs and Bixby, and last year it was just it was a curse if you were ranked number one, because the next week you was going to get knocked off. So so at one point I was ranked number one and got knocked off, and I had to win my last game to even make the playoffs. So it is probably the toughest district in all classes. So
I think it's interesting to look. Bixby is rated number one, Booker T. Washington number two, Muskogee number 4, and Sand Springs number 10. That is 4 out of the top 10 rankings that are in your district. That is unbelievable.
Yes, I mean, it's tough. You know, when you get there, you got to hope that you play well and you stay healthy, and because each week, I mean, you're gonna get beat up. You're gonna get beat up, and it's a tough district. And like I said, I think the team with the less injuries probably have an opportunity to kind of move really deep into the playoffs.
Kind of give us a brief scouting report on Shawnee, because that is the first district play. You started a week earlier than a lot of the other teams did, so you've already played your 3 non-district games, and you open up against Shawnee Friday night at Booker T. Washington. Give us a little scouting report.
Very well coached team. You know, Shawnee has a lot of, I mean, they're still 5A this year, and a team that they play hard. I mean, they have a lot of tradition there. So last year we went there and kind of scored quickly on them, and they kind of laid down. But I mean, this year they played some tough opponents, and we just got to be well prepared. And so I try to tell them, I say, you know, our first 3 games really kind of prepared us with, you know, Santa Fe, and then have to play Midwest City, and then play West Monroe. So now we're back in the state of Oklahoma, and like I said, it doesn't get any easier. So it's going to be a tough battle, and they're going to come here, and they know we're going to be ranked high, and so we got to really play our A game.
Brad, as a result of your 2-1, played 3 games, 3 tough games, have any of the players maybe surprised you, or have some of them come around that maybe you didn't expect to play as good as they're playing now?
Yes, I mean, like I junior bunch and sophomore bunch last year, I knew that was a good class. Some of our seniors last year just wouldn't fight through 4 quarters, but these seniors and juniors now, they fight through the 4th quarter. So they're a fun bunch of kids to coach, and that's where you get your enjoyment when kids like that, and you have an opportunity to go deep in the playoff and even win a gold ball with those type of kids, and I have those type of kids, and so I'm pretty pleased with them. They fight for 4 quarters, and that's all you can ask, and that's what we're getting ready to do now. Shawnee is a good opponent, and I just told them we just need to take one game at a time and don't look at the big picture, and so that's what we're going to do.
You know, I have some friends that are in the Booker T. Washington influential area, and they are really excited about we want the gold ball. And it seems like the players, according to my friends, this is what they are thinking. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, with all the tradition and the legacy they have, I mean, last time they won was 2010, so it has been a while. And you know, I always ask some of my kids, do you know any of the players was even on that team that won it? I mean, a lot of them know, you know, Lockett was on that team, but a lot of them really don't even know that Lockett played. So it's time. I mean, it's time to kind of get the tradition back. And like I said, this group of kids can probably get it done. So I'm excited about that.
Well, Brad, want to wish you the very best of luck and bring us home a win against Shawnee on Friday night at Booker T. Washington, but get you on the right trail to go back into the playoffs high on the list.
So, thank you.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the cross-country coach at Booker T. Washington High School, and I might say a very successful coach, Coach Greg Nash. And Greg, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, JV.
And when you take a look at cross-country, you are now in Class 5A. What impact has that had upon cross-country?
Well, it's had a great impact with the kids and the attitudes change, you know, being where we can compete with other schools and, you know, and not be in with the big classes. And our kids are very, very excited, and it's made a big difference in our program this year.
Does that mean that the fact that you have gone down a class, that the time and the distances will be a little less and that your kids will be able to compete more closely?
Well, the times will be still comparable to the 6A, but we got some good runners that can compete in this level at the 5A level and have a lot of success and bring home a lot more medals than we were in the 6A, because most of those 6A schools have a lot more people than we have, you know, the numbers, and we don't have the numbers like some of the bigger schools have.
Greg, when did you start your workout in the summer with your cross-country kids?
Well, we took a break when school got out in May. We took a 1-week break, and then we started a cross-country summer pride program that we incorporated over the summer, and we've had a lot of great success. And we went all through the summer, and we had at least 10 to 30 kids showing up at 3 times a week, and that means a lot to the program when you have a summer program and it connects to the fall, and the kids are very excited about that during the summer and having some success.
Did, as a result of this summer workout, now when they started to school, were things better for them?
Yes, things were much better, JV. The kids were in better shape and conditioning, and they took pride in what we did over the summer. And they brought a friend with them every day, brought somebody new, and we got our numbers up. Our numbers are about 57 boys and girls in the program, and they're all excited to be a part of the program and have some success in the 5A class. We're going to try to enjoy it as long as we can stay in there.
Now, do you have both boys and girls?
Yes, we have. I have both boys and girls, and I've had those for the long period of time that I've been at Booker T.
When you are coaching them, do they compete against one another?
Oh yeah, they're very competitive, especially the boys. We got about 4 senior boys, and they are very competitive and battling each other from 1 to 4 each week. And we had a young guy stepped up last week, a young freshman that stepped up in the program and had a lot of success. He finished in the top 3 at the last meet. So we've got a lot of success going and a lot of challenging of each other. You know, like today when we practice, we got some guys that want to compete and try to get in the top 7. So you have to be in the top 7 to be on the varsity. So it battles from 1 to 7 each week, and they try to beat each other out. So that makes it very fun and interesting each week.
And I'm sure that the boys certainly don't want one of the girls beating them in any form.
You're exactly right, because I have one young lady that's a freshman that's very, very competitive, and I have a new move in from Florida, young lady that's very competitive, and they're pretty close to some of those boys that's in the back. So those girls are excited. They practice with the boys and to try to get better each week.
What do you have coming up as far as events that our viewers might want to come and watch?
Well, we'd love to have the people in Tulsa to come out. We have a big meet Thursday, which is the Booker T. Washington Invitational, September the 14th at O'Brien Park. Starts at 3 o'clock, and we host the meet, Booker T, and hope that people can come out and watch that at O'Brien Park out at 66th Street North here in Tulsa, and we hope that they can come out. And then next week, on the 23rd of September, we'll be at a really good meet that's had a lot of tradition and been around for a long time. We'll be at Holland Hall on the 23rd of September at 9 o'clock a.m. in the morning, and that's a great course to run on, and I'd like to see people come out and watch the Booker T. Washington Hornets.
Do you try to have an event once a week?
Yes, that's what it's set up for. We can only have so many meets during cross-country season, and we have one a week for 8 weeks, and then we have regionals and state.
And the regionals, it will be here in Tulsa. Will
Yes.
you get to host it?
Yes, the regionals will be in Tulsa. We will not be able to host it this year, but I think Broken Arrow or Union is going to host the regional cross-country meet, but it will be here in Tulsa at the end of October. And the state meet will be in Edmond at the end of October.
At this point, what do you think your team can do?
Well, I think right now, we hope that we can qualify both boys and girls for the state cross-country meet at the end of October. We have a very good chance of that. We have the numbers now, and we have some competitive kids that wants to reach that plateau there to get to the state. And that's always our goal, is try to get to the state meet and be successful. And place. My goals always be in the top 2 or 3. So I always try to set my goals high and set the standards high for our program at Booker T.
We just have a few seconds left, but do you have some runners, both boys and girls, that could qualify for scholarships on a college level?
Yes, we have several boys that will be up for scholarships at the end of the season, and a couple of girls that will have a chance to get some major college scholarships and continue their academics and athletics ability at the next level.
Well, Greg, I want to wish you the very best of luck, and hopefully that you will be able to bring home that gold ball.
Well, thank you, JV. It's always great to be here and that you host this show, and I really appreciate you, and you do an excellent job. And thank you for hosting us for Tulsa Public School, and we really enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Look forward to having you back soon.
Thank you.
Stay with us. More coming up right after this.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head girls basketball coach, the head girls volleyball coach at Memorial High School, Audrey Estrada. And Audrey, it's a pleasure having you aboard, and to coach both of them at Memorial High School, that's got to be a full-time job.
Oh, it's definitely a full-time job, but thank you for having me here today. I'm excited to talk about both programs, but like you said, definitely full-time job. Got the job right whenever school ended this past year. Got the head girls basketball job. I've been coaching at Memorial for the last 2 years. This is my 3rd year going into the head volleyball coaching position, but since I got hired to take on both, I've been very, very busy. Over the summer, I was up there 4 to 5 times a week, whether opening up the gym for them to shoot or if they wanted to serve and get some hits in, I'd go up there and help them out as much as I can, and then started practice July 15th with volleyball and been up there every week since.
Well, now that we're getting into about the third week or fourth week of school, how do you get both of them in now? How do you get your basketball, because they are now really preparing for the opening of the season, but yet your volleyball is preparing for playoffs. How do you do all of this?
Oh, definitely. I get asked that a lot, actually. They're just like, so volleyball and basketball, they're both 7th hour, last hour of the day. What do you do? But like I mentioned, July 15th, we opened volleyball practice. So those girls have been there for most of the summer. They know what's expected of them. And I have a great assistant volleyball coach that she actually works them out during 7th hour while I'm focusing on getting to know the basketball girls, since I am new to that program, getting to know them, making sure that they're going to be conditioned well before we can officially start our practice. So during 7th hour, I'm all basketball. I go in there, teaching them the drills that I like to do and what I was taught to do. So during 7th hour, all basketball. And then after school, whether we have a game or we have practice, I'll go and join volleyball. But volleyball, I've had them for so long, and they're such great kids. They know what's expected of them, so I don't really worry about them whenever I'm at basketball. And like I said, my great assistant volleyball coach, she's doing a great job with them while I'm over at basketball for the short time period that I'm over there.
But this is your first year as the official head girls basketball coach.
Yes.
How do they compare with what they ended up with last year? Do you have some new girls coming in, some young kids? How do they look for competition?
I had them over the summer, and compared to other teams, they look really athletic. And we have a lot of athletes returning from last year, a lot of juniors, small senior class. We have 2 seniors at the moment, but they're good, hardworking seniors. And the junior class I have now, I really enjoy them. And I'm also doing freshman basketball in the morning at Memorial, and we have about 13 girls there, and they're working hard for me. So the future's looking pretty good right now, and as long as they keep up their work ethic, I think we'll be successful.
Coach, you just really sound like that you are in it just up to your eyebrows in coaching and enjoying doing what you're doing.
Oh, definitely. I can't imagine doing anything else. It's not the first time I've done both sports. Actually, in college, I played volleyball and basketball. So I'm used to juggling the two. But like I said, I wouldn't imagine my life without sports. And I'm very gracious that Tulsa Public Schools and Memorial High School actually hired me to do both. And growing up, they're like, you need to pick one sport. You need to pick one sport and stick to it. And I just wanted to play every sport I could. And now it's paying off because I'm able to do both. And very blessed to be able to do both.
Well, now, as you look at your volleyball, as you're getting ready to go into a playoff system, how do you expect them to do?
Well, like I said, this is the 3rd year I've had them, and I have them trained. They really respond well to me, which I'm very thankful for. And those girls, they want to win, and they haven't been very successful the last couple of years. The year before I actually got them, they only won 1 game. My first year we won 4, and then last year we actually broke a school record and won 10 in a row.
Wow.
So I think what they're getting closer and closer to just being winners, and that's what's expected of them, is to win out. So once playoffs come around, I'm a little anxious to see how they're going to respond to that pressure. Like, you're not expected to come here and win, but this year I think they are. They're expected to do well and compete well, and they've been competing with some top-notch volleyball teams, and I'm really proud of them.
Well, when you see the kids develop to that point, then all of the time that you have spent, all of the work that you have put in, it's worth it, isn't it?
It's definitely worth it, and it's not just me. Those girls, they wanted it. They wanted to be good, and they were good before I got them. They just needed some guidance, and they got it, and they responded well to me. And I'm glad I was able to play volleyball at the college level to kind of teach them what I've learned in the past and what I like to do. And they've really responded well, and they're doing things that I don't think they ever were expected to do or that they thought they could do themselves, and they're doing it now, and I'm very proud of them, like I said.
Well, Coach, you have convinced me. I'm going to come and watch the volleyball game. I'm going to come and watch your girls play basketball, because you've convinced me that you're doing a great job for the kids, and I'm looking forward to do it and appreciate you dropping by today.
Well, thank you for having me. We look forward to seeing you at our games.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard Assistant Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Mick Wilson. And Mick, always a pleasure having you aboard because it seems like when you're here that we do talk about things that are very important. And one of the most important things today is to determine steps to become a coach.
Well, JV, I appreciate you having me. I'm not sure the things I talk about are very important, but
yes, they are.
I like to think so. But no, once again, it's always a privilege to be here, and I sure appreciate all you do for Tulsa Public Schools.
Well, what does it take for a young man or a young lady to come into becoming a high school coach?
Well, probably the biggest thing that we deal with are making sure that the coaches, once they arrive here, they have all their credentials. I spend a lot of time tracking credentials down and trying to advise them and get them pointed in the right direction. And probably some of the biggest things, I'm always looking for transcripts, for certificates, things that they've gone through. We here at Tulsa Public Schools require about 5 or 6 things that you have to do in order to coach in our district, and that's not only the full-time people, but that's also our adjunct coaches and our volunteers. And probably the biggest thing we look for right off the bat is what's required by the State Department of Education, and that's the requirement of having care and prevention of athletic injuries. In the last few years, that's gotten really big with the auditors. They come from the State Department of Education and require us to provide proof of each coach that we have employed in the district to have that. The second thing is now through state and federal law is the completion each year of the courses of cardiac arrest, concussion, and heat illness, recognizing the signs, being able to identify when a student's in trouble or if a student needs assistance with any of those problems, that coaches recognize that, and that's gotten to be really, really big the last few years. On top of that, the OSSA requires NFHS Fundamentals of Coaching, which is a beginning course for all coaches, and that's whether it's your first year out of college or if you're an adjunct coach and you've been coaching several years and haven't had that class, you have to provide documentation of that. We do something different here in the district, and I think we're the only district in the state and one of the only ones nationally. We've been interviewed and talked to by several publications about this, but we require our coaches to pass a compliance exam that touches a little bit on district policy, board policy, some state and federal NFHS guidelines, and then also some OSSA rules. So we're not trying to turn everyone into a complete expert of all the rules, but we try to hit some of the generalizations and some of the ones that we kind of consider that are very important in order to coach. And then lastly, once you've completed all those and provided us a documentation, then we send you upstairs to do a district background check, and that requires not only drug testing but fingerprinting as well.
How many years ago did you say that this became implemented?
Well, most of this, some of these things have been implemented for quite some time. But as far as all 6 procedures together, that's something that we brought on board once I arrived with Gil. We worked on this, and one of the first things we worked on was doing the district compliance test. And that's become, it's become something I'm really proud of because that was kind of my baby, and we wrote the test. We've rewrote the test now twice, and I've had several other athletic directors I had an athletic director from the Philadelphia Public Schools call me and touched on this. We've got some software that allows for the testing. And the great thing about our test is that it doesn't allow you to proceed until you've selected the correct answer each time, so that there's portions of the test that you have to get checked off on before you can move to the next part of the test. But all this, JV, has been in place now for about 6 years.
Mick, how far do you see this going in the future?
Well, Gil and I both brought NCAA experience to Tulsa Public Schools, and passing recruiting tests, and some conferences required you pass not only a recruiting test but a rules test as well. It's something that we kind of modeled after the NCAA, so I don't think that the NCAA definitely won't go away from this thing, but I could see more districts starting to embrace this, and maybe even some institutions like the OSSA requiring something like this down the road.
You know, it seems to me like back in my era when I came in as a coach, why you coach because you love the game. But since then, it has developed much deeper. And as a result, I think it has helped. But how far do you really see it going in the future?
Well, I think more and more there's a lot of compliance issues with head coaches. And even stepping back now, I think that sometimes I worry that we put too much on our head coaches. Not only are they responsible for teaching class and maintaining study halls and taking care of our kids academically, well then, you know, the OSSA requires a completion of all these courses, requires OSSA rankings, which they have to put rankings in each week. And you know, things we require here, sometimes you wonder if we put too much on them. But I think good coaches find a way to get it done, and good coaches also have a good staff of assistants that can help them complete some of these tasks. But I don't see any of this going away. Again, there may be some additional things coming in the future, but again, it requires a little bit more organization than just your typical coach of rolling out the ball and making out a lineup. There's a lot of things to do these days, and again, if you surround yourself with some good people and have good assistants that can meet those deadlines and help cover the tail of the head coach, then you'll be in good shape.
You bring us so much great information, and when I go in here, I'm thinking about it. I wish I'd ask you this. I wish I'd ask you that. But the next time on, I will ask you that.
Well, I appreciate it, and I know the one thing you're dying to ask me is about the Tournament of Champions, but that'll be for another show.
That's another show. Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
We just finished dinner, and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. As we welcome aboard the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, always a pleasure having you aboard here on Inside Tulsa Athletics. And when we take a look at the number of coaches that you have brought in this year, remarkable.
Well, it was a pretty busy year this spring as we look for coaches. I think one of the things, and I know that Mick Wilson has already talked to you this morning about how we put those coaches together and the things that they have to do to be able to be qualified to coach, both by the state of Oklahoma, the Activities Association, and of course TPS. So it is a procedure that we go through every spring when we have replacement and openings there. But this year was fairly unique because one school we retooled basically both basketball positions, the AD position, and the head football job. And that's a big turnover.
Yes, it is.
In what are the revenue producing sports with the person who's supposed to be the revenue generator, who is the athletic director at the school. But I think we really hired some quality people this year. I feel really, really good about the people we put in place. And I tell you, I feel good about the people that we have in place out there. I think over the past 5.5 years, we've been able to attract some really quality head coaches in those revenue producing sports. And I think that's critical because, all of our schools operate on gate receipts. There's no general fund money that go into the budgets of the individual schools. Now, of course, the coaching stipends and transportation are paid from our office, and that does have general fund money. But everything that they buy, helmets, shoulder pads, basketballs, uniforms, that all comes from those gate receipts. So it's very important that you have success in those programs to generate more gate receipts.
You mentioned some of the coaches and had the opportunity to visit with the head football coach that you brought into Hale High School, Bruce Munden, and it just seems like that he is so excited. He kind of reminded me of someone getting a Class B school, the first job. I mean, he just excited about it, and I'm sure that will prove profitable to him and to Hale.
I think that's the thing that coaches, when they come into situations, and JV, my career history has always been going into situations that needed to be fixed somehow or another. And I think there's a challenge there that excites a person every day when they come to work, because it's a new day every day. When you're changing attitudes and ideas, it's difficult, and you have to be consistent and stay there. And Bruce has done a really good job of making that happen through the process of the changeover in mentality that they have to have. Hale's struggled in football for a while, and it's one of those things I think that he has to change that total culture around the football program. And of course, then the basketball coach, Yancey Walker, outstanding junior college coach up in Missouri at Hale now, and was at West Plains High School in Missouri before we were able to track him down here to Nathan Hale. Outstanding background, journalism major, not a typical coach, teaching field, but somebody who's going to be really, really good for their basketball program. And Sean Keim, the AD, who they call Mr. Ranger, because he went to Nathan Hale, he came back to Nathan Hale, he was in the insurance business for a while, and he actually met with Mick Wilson about an insurance, buying some insurance from him. And when he went home that night, he told his wife, he said, "Gosh, I'd just like to be like Mick Wilson. I'd like to do his job as a district AD." And the next day he went in, and his wife had talked to the boss, who happened to be related to her, and he had all of Shane's stuff boxed up on his desk. He said, what's the deal? Am I fired? He said, "No, you want to go back and be a coach, you need to go ahead and finish your degree." And so he finished his degree this past spring in English. So he's an English major, teaches English classes, but he's also our director of athletics there. So there's great stories, I think, with all of those kinds of folks, and we can go through them.
When you look at those coaches that, with the athletic director and the 3 new head coaches that you have at Hale, and the fact that they have been having some problems, it just appears to me that that's going to be on the plus side this year.
JB, there's no question, and a critical ingredient in that is the principal. The principal is a guy that, or gal in this case, that can set the tone. And Dr. Riley, the principal at Hale, certainly wants a program, understands the intricate part it fills with the academic part of her school, and so she has going to give them their support as much as possible for them to be successful. And we have to be patient, because when you change attitudes and ideas, it takes time. So it's not going to be an overnight success, but I think in the long run, we have some people in place there at Hale now that are going to make a difference.
Well, it won't happen, as you said, just overnight, but I think you will be able to see that it is coming. Stay with us. We're going to take a time out and then come back with more with Bill Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue visiting with the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, we were talking about the new coaches at Hale High School, and I think we missed one.
Well, Wes Hamilton is the new head girls coach. So we have 2 new basketball coaches, a new football coach and a new athletic director, and that certainly will make an impact on the Nathan Hale program. Wes has got tremendous experience, has coached in Tulsa for over 20 years. Actually started coaching in the old TJAA, Tulsa Junior Athletic Association, over the years, and then coached in junior high and has been at Edison for the past 5 or 6 years, and now has moved over to Hale in a head coaching position. So we're glad to have him over there.
Well, when you take a look at 12 new head coaches, one that jumps to my mind is Conley Phipps at Booker T. Washington High School.
Conley Phipps, we hired this spring to be the head basketball coach at Booker T. I think I've known Conley for many years. Conley was a graduate assistant and then an assistant for us at Northeastern State when I was director of athletics there. Of course, he played at Oklahoma for Billy Tubbs, and he played for Ken Hayes when he left Oklahoma at Northeastern. Coached with Coach Tubbs down at TCU, and spent 17 or 18 years with Scott Sutton at ORU, and for the last 3 years has been over at Sapulpa as the head coach. And you know, one of the things you always look at when you hire somebody into a high school job that had been in the college business for quite a while is this a stopping off time? Is this just to rest a little bit and then get back into the college? So one of the questions we asked during the course of our interviews, and I think Conley was firmly convinced that he'd been through the college business, spent 21 years as a college coach, wanted to settle down, be a high school coach, and really make a difference in younger kids' lives. And so we felt really good about that. Also, we hired the head girls coach this year at Booker T. Washington, Rabu Leva. Of course, Rabu had been at Memorial for the last 6 or 7 years, and but was a great fit because he fit not only the coaching, but he fit the teaching. He's a math instructor, and they needed a math instructor. So it worked out pretty well, and his background and the success he's had at Memorial hopefully will translate into Booker T. Washington.
And it seems like the head football coach at Central High School is doing a good job.
Kip Shaw, I think, has done a really good job. I was at their game on Friday night, and I thought that they looked well coached. They had a good game plan offensively and defensively, and I was excited to see the enthusiasm that their student athletes had during the course of the game and the discipline that they showed. And I really am high on Kip Shaw. I think he's a good football coach.
And how about at Rogers High School? What has happened at Rogers?
Well, the new head basketball coach, Dave Winton, is an individual who has been a head coach before, and literally told the committee that he made a sacrifice to be an assistant coach at Claremore Sequoia for the benefit of his daughter, that so she could get a good education to be able to play in a program and so on, and she did. And then when she graduated this past spring, he was ready to look for a job. And we were tickled to death to be able to hire a guy with his background, over 20 years experience, been a head coach 10 or 15 of years of that 20 years. He brings a lot of enthusiasm to the Rogers program. We're excited to have him involved.
Well, as you take a look, 12 new head coaches, 3 new athletic directors. You had a busy summer.
Well, we had a busy summer, and that's just the head coaches, JV. You know, we probably this past spring and summer probably hired over 75 or 80 assistant coaches into various positions, because we do have a large number of adjunct coaches who do not teach but do want to coach, and that turnover is a little bit higher than your regular coaching staff. So that's a constant turnover. And you know, and the administrative part of it is also an area that we have to deal with, and that is we had the new AD at Hale, Sean Kine, but we also had 2 new assistant athletic directors, one at Central and one at Edison, Eli Brown at Central, and Michael Parrish at Edison, both basketball coaches as well, and teachers. But the jobs of athletic directing have become so intricate on a day-to-day basis and so involved with legal aspects of athletics, but also eligibility, hardships. The paperwork is unbelievable that we have to deal with the Activity Association, and that's why in our office we try to help a little bit with that. But they're on site, and they're the ones that got to do it.
And you know, Gil, we have 30 seconds, but I don't think that the general public understands the paperwork that has gone in to high school athletics.
No, you know, our friends the lawyers have made it such that we have a lot of cover up on everything, that we have to cover this and that and everything, and it's a full-time job basically.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you aboard, and look forward week after next.
Sounds good.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me? I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Thanks for joining us today on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we certainly want to encourage each and every one of you to support the athletic programs in the school nearest you, because it's through the support of the public that keeps athletics going, and we need it with our young men and young women. So get out and support the Tulsa Public Schools athletic program right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.